Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cats Talk podcast, episode 1. Sam Hossack here with Carson Burns of the Barrie Baycats. Carson, how are you doing?
Good, Sam. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So we'll start out. At what age did you start playing baseball, and when did you fall in love with the game?
Myself, I actually had a late start playing baseball. I used to be a big hockey player when I was a kid, and that kind of took up my summers as well. And I think probably around 12 years old, I think I signed up for my first kind of baseball team, which is just house league here in Orangeville. And then kind of fell in love with it when I started to get a little better at it. And, I kind of knew early that I kind of wanted to pursue that baseball career and go to school for that. And I was blessed to have the opportunity to go down to Texas, and I'm very happy now to continue my career here in Barrie.
Now, before you went down to Texas, did you get a chance to play high school baseball at all?
Orangeville isn't necessarily big. My first year there, we had a baseball team in high school, and then kind of phased out because not many baseball players coming out of Orangeville. But so no, it was mostly travel ball for me. I played for the Ontario Nationals in St. Mary's, so that was kind of my main source of baseball.
Now, take us through committing to Western Texas and how you kind of knew that was the school you wanted to go to.
Yeah, for sure. Texas is always like a great baseball, just great sports in general. So it was either Florida or Texas for myself, and Western Texas was kind of the only offer I got in either of those states. So it was a no-brainer for me going down to Texas. I mean, tons of opportunity down there, and just great baseball no matter what league you're in down there. So that was kind of it was a deciding factor for me going to Texas.
Now, before we get into the Baycats side of things, one guy that you played with down there that Baycats fans really know this year is Marcel Lacasse. So just talk about the seasons you got to play together down there and rooming together as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, down in Texas, it's a lonesome feeling, and when you got another Canadian there, I mean, it's almost like your family. Like it's just such a different feeling, a different atmosphere when you have someone who knows like what back home is like, and like kind of what you go through it together, kind of living on your own and like a different world almost. So yeah, I mean, playing with him was a lot of fun, and we had the opportunity to go 4 or 5 in lineup for both years we were there. So always talks on deck, and living together as well. So we're always together and had a lot of fun. We've become very close.
Now, switching to the Baycats side of things, take us through when Angus Roy reached out to you back in 2017 about playing for the Baycats, and what were your thoughts? First of all, did you know anything about the IBL, and was it a league you wanted to play in?
Yeah, I have heard about the IBL, and I kind of actually before that I reached out to the Toronto Maple Leafs, kind of trying to get myself into the league, and that was before I went to college, and I forget who the manager was there at the time, but he told me to go to school first, and then great freshman year at Western Texas, and then I had Angus reach out to me, and I told him just because like I had to work, so I had to pay for stuff at school myself. I told him I couldn't commit full time, and then I came out for my first game in Guelph, and I just kind of saw the atmosphere and the gameplay there, and I thought that's probably the turning point when I knew the IBL was a legit league and a lot of fun.
Now, obviously, something that happens is Barrie, you don't have your names on your jerseys, but just talk about having an IBL jersey and being able to have a number on it and play for a team.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a league back home, it's always such a great opportunity. Like I always wanted to come back home and for the summers and have the chance to play for an IBL team this close to home. It's just such a blessing, and especially playing for the Baycats. I mean, obviously 6 years in a row, going for 7 this year. It's such a just amazing to be part of the organization. The players, the players, and then kind of the staff that goes with it. Everyone's just great, and coaching staff, and it's just such a great organization to be a part of.
Now, take us through your first IBL game, if you can remember. Obviously, with the way the pandemic's gone, it feels like so long ago, probably. But what were the nerves like going into that game?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of nerves. Back in that 2017 season, some big boys, some big names on that team. Castaldo, Atkinson, DeGrace, Stevie Lewis, Jeff Cowan. I mean, all big names, big boys, hit the ball hard. So, I kind of had to, myself, it's kind of like I need to kind of show these guys that I belong here. So, um, first game was a little rough for myself. I think I went 0 for 4, but I haven't really had the success I've wanted in the IBL. I don't know why that may be, but I did have a good college career. So, I'm just kind of waiting for that to transfer over, and, I'll get it going eventually once I get into it every single day.
Now, a guy that you play with still to this day this season is Jeff Cowan, who just got his 400th hit a couple of weeks ago. So talk about being a rookie a couple of years ago and seeing Cowan in the lineup, and what was he kind of telling you as a rookie?
Jeff Cowan he's just a great individual on and off the field. He's always, he always reaches out to me, baseball or non-baseball related. He's always just kind of, that's just who he is. He's just such a great guy. And, Jeff Cowan on the field, off the field, he's just a leader. That's who he is. And I think he wants people to do well for themselves more than he wants to do well for himself. So I think he's just, he's a kind of team first kind of guy. And, obviously it works out for him because, he's seen his success and just how he does. So
now we'll go back.
And I think it's just kind of.
Now we'll go back to his 400th hit. How exciting was it to see him get that, and how happy were you for him from being a guy that's been around him for a few years now?
Yeah, like I said, I mean that guy deserves the world. He's such a great guy. Like I said, a baseball player and just a man. So to see him get that 400th career hit and just another accomplishment is it's great. I mean, he deserves it, and I'm sure 500th year soon.
Now, 10-13 on the year for the Baycats right now. What do you guys need to do to keep pushing here with the last couple of weeks of the season and get ready for playoffs?
I think at this point it's just us being more consistent. We've been streaky, whether it be 4 wins in a row or 4 losses in a row. I think it's just we need to get more consistent, and we've hit well all year. It's just kind of getting those hits in the right places, and then obviously pitching is a premium with no imports this year. And, I think our pitchers have done a good enough job. Keeping us in ball games is just kind of defense, and then kind of stringing hits together is what we need to be better at. And I think once we get that locked down, we're going to have a chance at a 7th championship in a row here.
Now, one thing that's kind of shown lately is Josh Matlow, manager of the Baycats, has had to put a lot of guys at a bunch of different positions. There's been a bunch of injuries and such. So how do you guys kind of adapt to having guys play infield that might not be infielders naturally?
It's definitely tough when you have to put, catchers or outfielders in the infield, guys who have never done that before. But, baseball players for the most part are natural athletes. So that's kind of things people can adapt to. Obviously, it's not ideal. We need everyone healthy and back in the lineup. I think once that happens, we'll be a lot better than our record shows right now. We are a lot better than our record shows. So I think it's only a matter of time before that comes around.
Now, here before we wrap up, Baycats got 3 home games this week. You've got Toronto, Brentford, and then London. We'll forget about the game against London last night with the way the 9th inning went. But what do you guys need to do to get 3 wins at home this week for the fans?
I think definitely playing at home is going to help us huge. First of all, I think playing at home, great atmosphere in Barrie, great fans. They're always behind us every single pitch, no matter the score. So I think that's definitely going to help us out. And I think, good pitching and solid defense this week is what's going to get us 3 wins.
Now, as you mentioned there, the fans, how important is it to have a home crowd behind you?
Yeah, I mean, they're great. They're always great. And, it's one of the best atmospheres in the IBL, if not the best. So, they've been doing that for a while. And even this year with a completely brand new team, there's still people coming out and supporting. And, they're always there for us. So thank you guys. And we're going to go ahead and try and get you another championship here.
I'm Sam Hossack. That's Carson Burns. Thanks for joining us on the Cats Talk podcast today, Carson.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Sam.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 1 of the Cats Talk podcast. I'm Sam Hossack. That's Marcel Lacasse from the Barrie Baycats. Marcel, how are you today?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, getting into things, at what age did you get into baseball, and when did you kind of fall in love with the sport?
I got into baseball when I was really young. My brother played baseball, and he's 7 years older than me. So basically, since I was born, my mom left the field to give birth to me. So I was at the field at a young age, and I literally, fell in love with baseball then. Just from,
Now, obviously, with the Baycats now, take us back to the day you signed with the Baycats. How did it kind of happen, and had you ever heard of the IBL?
yeah, I've heard of the IBL before. I played college ball with Carson Burns, and he talked about the league a lot and like how like the fans were amazing and it was a really good league. And yeah, so I heard about the IBL there, and then so the day I signed with the Baycats, Carson Burns called me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to come play with us?" I was like, "Yes." And then the recruiter called me, and then within like 5 hours I was a Baycat. So yeah, that's how it happened.
Now, take us through your time at Western Texas. You were roommates with Burns. Just talk about being able to play together and live together.
I got there I got there for the spring, so for a season. Burns was there for the fall, and I got there right when the season started, and we kind of like bonded together because both Canadians were in Texas, nowhere. So we bonded there, and then it was amazing. We hung out all the time. We went to the batting cages super late at night. Worked out together as a fun time.
Now, last night you guys had a huge 18-7 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. 28 hits, and as we were talking before we started here, you said at JUCO you guys had crazy 4-hour long games. So what was it like to be a part of that as Barrie Baycat last night and get a win against the Maple Leafs?
Hey, the bats were hot. Bats are hot right now, and it's a good thing. Like when you put up 7 runs in a game like the Leafs did yesterday, you have a pretty good chance to win a ball game. But we're just, everybody's seeing the baseball well. Everybody's just doing their thing, and that's one important thing, is that nobody's trying to do too much. They're just trying to, get barrels, get hits, and that's how ball games are won. Like one, just baseball. Yeah.
Now, something that has seemed to be a recurring thing for the Baycats is they'll get hot, win a few games in a row, and then drop a few games. So what do you guys need to do for the rest of the season to continue this hot streak after putting up 18 runs last night?
Yeah, so I think everybody needs to stay locked in. Not every game is going to be like that. It's not going to be like everyone's going to see the ball well. Of course, there's going to be some ups and downs, but we just gotta go through and pull through. Actually, just see the ball well, do what we do, and everybody's a good ball player. We're here because we're good ball players. You got to know that. If you go into you go for 2 for the first 2 at bats of your game, you can't just have that in your head. And then so just stay locked in, do what you know how to do, and should be fine. Yeah.
And now finally here, message for the fans who have supported you so far. How important is it to have that Baycats crowd behind you at Coach Stadium every night?
No, it's really important. The fans are making this stadium so electric. I love to hear the cheers and like the chirps as well. It's really good. And actually, like the fans, I was really impressed for there was a tornado here in Barrie not too long ago, and there's still like 500 people in the stands. I was surprised with that. And we got a really solid fan base, and you guys need to keep coming and help us win another ring, another ship.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of the Cats Talk podcast, thanks to Marcel Lacasse for hopping on here today, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 1 of the Cats Talk podcast. I'm Sam Hossack. That's Josh Matlow, Field Manager of the Barrie Baycats. How are you today, Josh?
Yeah, good. How you doing, Sammy?
I'm doing good. Excited to talk some baseball with you today.
Always fun talking baseball, especially Baycats baseball.
Absolutely. So first of all, how did you get into becoming the manager of the Baycats fans for the fans that want to know?
Well, great question. I played with the Baycats in 2005 to 2009. I took an absence from 2009 till about 2019. I moved up to Innisfil from Toronto, and it was just local, and I just thought it'd be great to get back in with the guys. And I volunteered in 2019 to help them with social media and online ticketing and stuff like that. And the opportunity arose, and I was lucky enough to get the position, and I'm grateful. I'm loving it, having a blast, but it just worked out.
Now, from the manager side of things, what do you look for in a typical Baycats player, and what does it look like when you're recruiting for a player?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have 5-tool guys that could play ball. But I think one of the prerequisites for us, especially building a new team, was to make sure that they're good human beings, that they understand that there's more than just the baseball on the field. There's the community element off the field, which is very important to us and close to our hearts. So we want to make sure they're not only a well-rounded baseball player, but a well-rounded individual.
Absolutely. Now, a guy that a lot of people know as Baycats fans is Jeff Cowan, been around the team for a very long time. As a manager, how cool is it to have a guy like that who's won all the championships with the team?
It's funny because I played with him back in 2006, 15 years ago, and to see him continuously doing it, it's epic. And to have him around the clubhouse with the young guys and just see him continuously do it, it's magical. I'm so honored to be a part of it. It's so amazing to see him hit 400 hits and just to still be around in the game and still doing it. And he's having I think a career year, to be honest with you. So we're playing him in a huge role, and he's hitting the 2-hole, and he's getting on base for us. He's doing everything right. And like I said, just off the field too, he's a great face, a great name, and an absolute gentleman.
Now, as you mentioned there, he got 400 hits a little while ago. And in that game, Ryan Rio jumped right out of the dugout and got the ball. So as a manager, how cool is it to see a guy who's been around for a few years recognize that it is Cowan's 400th hit and they got to get that ball in for him?
Yeah, guys who didn't even know Cowan knew it was coming up, and we were doing a little bit of an internal countdown. We recognize special milestones, and we knew that it was special, and it's great for the organization. It's great for the young guys to see, him sticking around so long and hitting these milestones. So we all felt it. We were all excited for him. I think the entire bench got up and gave him a standing ovation. So did the crowd. It was just great to be a part of. I have chills even just talking about it.
Now, one thing that is always behind the Baycats is the crowd. So first of all, how important is it to have that home crowd at Coach Stadium behind you every single night?
It's funny because I think it's the greatest park in the IBL. I mean, there's arguments about which park is nicer, but I think the home fan base is what makes it so special, and the undying support, and it's very special. And I know a lot of the guys love playing at home because of it, but when the crowd gets into it and the support we get, it's just special. And love playing at home, love playing in front of the crowd. And we're having some pretty large crowds, even on a Tuesday night, for example, a rescheduled game. We were packed house last night. So we appreciate it. We love it. We love playing in front of the fans. We love giving them a show. So we're excited, and we hope it only grows from here.
Now, on the fan aspect, if you've been at Coach Stadium this year, there's a few very vocal fans. And from what I've heard, the one who really gets into it and got confirmed by Carson Burns is your dad. So talk about him being at the games. And do you hear him screaming during the game?
Yeah, it's funny. It's been going on since I played, and it was always the guys turning to me say, "Hey, Mallow, your dad's here," and I know he is. I can hear him. He's now around 7 years old, and he's still going strong and very loud. And I know some of the fans might get annoyed by it, and but it does get the crowd going. And normally, my brother, he's always been embarrassed by it coming to the games. I actually love it, and he means well. He's a big supporter, so we encourage it to get the crowd going. And we've had to fine tune some of his chants, but all in all, it's all in good fun, and he means well. So I'm happy with it.
Now, something that we've talked quite a bit about after games in our interviews is getting the bats started early. And last night at Coach Stadium, they got started early for sure. 28 hits. And as we talked over text last night, that's something you had never seen. So talk about managing a game where your team gets 18 runs and 28 hits and gets a victory.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to manage that. It's, you say about getting it going early. We didn't get it going early. We were tied 1-1, I think, in the fourth. So we finally did get it going. But I think for some reason, we can't get it going early. It's hard to put up runs at the beginning. We always fall behind. These are things we're looking to clean up. And as we move forward, and obviously our offense will hit and our pitchers will pitch. But if we can put them together in the same game, that'd be nice. But I think we got a lot of momentum. We have a lot of guys who are hitting now. Making it harder on me to choose who's in the lineup each night. And some guys are on the bench who are great ball players, and it's not on purpose. It's one of those things where we got to play who's hot. And right now there's some guys who are really hot. I think last night's game was something special because I don't know if I've ever been a part of a 28 hit game or almost 30 hits. And you've always been a part of a high scoring game, but there's just, I think every guy had at least 2 hits, and most guys had 3, and some had 4, and even guys were robbed of 5 hits. It was epic, and it was really nice to see not only obviously putting up big numbers, but a lot of the guys getting on for the next guy, and it was kind of infectious, which was really nice to see. And if we can keep that rolling, offensively, but as well, we got some good pitching last night too. If it wasn't for those late inning runs, and we would have kept them to minimum, but. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to be a part of it. Obviously, it's a big win. We needed that, but I'm hoping we keep that momentum moving forward.
Now, a guy who's been very red hot as of late at the top of that lineup is Jake Wilson. What does he bring to the team? And during this 13-game hit streak, how cool is it to see as many hits as he's getting every single night for you guys?
He's the catalyst. He hits, we hit. He's our leader. He's at the top of the lineup for a reason. His on base, his average, his baseball IQ, his ability. He is an outstanding baseball player. And I think him just being around, being on base, getting on for the guys behind him, he's making us all better. So he's a huge piece, and I think he should be in talks for MVP, Rookie of the Year for sure, but also MVP.
Now, a veteran like yourself is Brad Grieveson. How important has he been, not only on the coaching staff, but as a pitcher as well this season?
Yeah, it's also the mindset. Not only is he a fantastic pitcher who throws a ton of strikes, and that's, I think, one of the things we've been pushing for the young guys too, is just throw strikes, trust in your defense. When you're walking guys and giving free bases, and it turns into free runs, and it adds up real quick. And a lot of the young guys like to we call them the sexy stats. They all want the strikeouts and the blow by guys. We want you to pitch. We want you to throw strikes. And Brad is a perfect example of that. He'll come in at 41 years old, throw 80% strikes, and really show the guys how it's done. His mindset is fantastic. He's willing to take on anybody at any time throughout the game. He'll start on Thursday and come in relief on Saturday if he had to. He's really willing to help. He loves our squad. He loves everything about the organization. He's a big fan of just everything that's being done. And I'm grateful for his support, as well as Andrew White, and my coaching staff has been fantastic. So, to have him on the coaching staff and to play is just, again, it's bringing back memories like Cowan too. So I played with Brad in 2005. So pretty special stuff to see him doing it and doing it well.
Now, I know I am wondering, and I'm sure a bunch of fans are too, when you go out to the mound to have a conversation with him, is he kind of telling you what he needs to do better? How does that kind of work on those mounds?
To be honest with you, I don't think I've gone to get him yet. I think any time he's come in, he's either finished the game or he's finished the inning. And you do the nice handshake and dugout. But he made it very clear that if he's going in, that he wants nothing to do with the coaching side of things, and that's really all on me, because he wouldn't give up the ball if it was up to him, which I love. And again, that's someone that I hope it becomes infectious to the young guys, where they don't want to hand over the ball, they just want it. So yeah, I haven't had that moment, but again, we've established that if I'm going to go get him, he's going to have to reciprocate and understand. So we're good with that so far.
Now, something that's happened a little bit this season, dealing with injuries. How do you manage a game and throwing guys into a lineup when you have sudden injuries like the Baycats have had a couple times this season?
Yeah, I mean, you really don't account for injuries. You don't know, the extent of it. We did our best. We had a good roster size where we were able to get guys in who maybe would have sat the bench if, we had a full roster, and they stepped up. And, James Anderson is a perfect example. He was, started on the bench. He got an opportunity, and he's absolutely hitting the out of the ball. And he's earned himself not only a spot in the starting lineup, but now we're moving him around just to fit him in. And I think that's the classic baseball, whereas, if guys are hot, you'll find a way to get him in the lineup. And he's a perfect example. So it's nice that now as we get closer to the playoffs too, and guys are showing up and not injured, and, they make sure they don't have to work. We actually have an extended bench, which is really nice to have in terms of depth. So I'm happy with that.
Now, a guy like Noel McGarry-Doyle, who was off to a red hot start this season, goes off to school. How hard was it to lose a bat like that in the lineup?
It's never good losing a guy who's probably one of the hottest guys in the league. It was one of those things. We knew what we had in him. We knew he was a special breed. He's a very special ball player. We might not see him again, to be honest with you. He might find his way into the draft or get signed somewhere. He's a very special talent. Like I said, we knew what we had. We're just happy that he was able to, spread his wings and really show, everyone what he has. Good news is we got lucky with, bringing in Andrew Tuck, who was like a perfect replacement. Who will be with us for the playoff run. So it was, you lose one, but you gain one, and it just kind of worked out for the best. And we wish Noel the best of luck, because we know he has a career in baseball for sure.
Now, there was one game in Welland that I definitely want to touch on. Yourself was in the lineup for this one. What led to the decision where guys weren't coming, and what made you decide to put the cleats on again?
Well, that wasn't the plan. I'm not a rostered player. I didn't want to sign a card this year because I just wanted to focus on the the coaching aspect of things. And Brad Grierson wanted the same, but that unfortunately changed real quick. So I was given permission. I was asked permission by Welland, and to make sure that it would be okay to saddle up. The reasoning for that was we had a pitcher at third base because of all the injuries. We had a pitcher at third base, and we would have had to have a pitcher who has never his entire life at any level hit for himself. So to have two pitchers in the lineup, we just didn't think it was fair, and the right thing to do was to put it together. It's been 12 years since I've seen a live pitch, but I had 5 good at bats. I was very happy with it. It got a few rallies going, and you know what? In the grand scheme of things, when you really want to do the best for your team and organization, it doesn't even matter. I would have hit left-handed with one hand behind my back if I had to, if that was the penalty. But it was a great opportunity. I loved being a part of it. I would do it again in a heartbeat, but I was just more upset that I had to do it because of the circumstances. So I'm happy everyone's back, and I'm happy we all get back to our regular roles.
Now, this upcoming week, 2 more home games, Thursday and Saturday, and then we're in the latter half of the season. What do Baycats need to do to keep this playoff push going and move up the standings even more?
Again, just keep the momentum, keep the energy up, get it going early. The pitchers are keeping us in it. We got to get bats going real early, and if we can put some crooked numbers up real quick, I'm very confident in our pitching moving forward that these guys will hold them, and I'm very excited. I really think we're going in the right direction. And there was someone said we were at rock bottom, and when you really look back on the games, we had a 4-game winning streak followed by 3-game losing streak. On all 3 games, we were winning by 2 to 3 runs in the 9th inning, and we had the ball in our glove. And on 2 of those 3, we won last night. We could have been 8 in a row. So it's all momentum going forward, and we're really in a good spot. Our record doesn't really reflect how good I think we are, but I guess the rest of the season will kind of hopefully show that.
Now, what can Baycats fans expect this coming week for the 2 home games? What can they expect from the Bats after putting up 18 runs for them on Tuesday?
You're going to see probably similar lineups that you saw the last couple of games. We have some guys, again, who are hot, and they deserve to be in the lineup. We're going to be seeing Jazz Shergill. He's going to be making his first pitching appearance. He went out to Germany. Their season finished. He came back here. We're resting him up for a bit, and then we're going to get him back on the mound. That's going to start on Thursday. We'll get him qualified for the playoffs. And then we're going to do a bullpen day, so you can see a few other pitchers. And then we're back with Juan on Saturday night against London first place team.
Now, finally, before we wrap up here, Juan Benitez, he's been terrific for you guys, the ace, as you call him, for the team. What does he need to do in that start against first place London Majors on Saturday to get you guys a win?
Well, again, he's been pitching well. There's no question. He's definitely been our ace pitcher, and we like to try to face him against the better team so he can get those high leverage situations and really be primed for the playoffs. He's done everything we've asked. He's been fantastic. He's a big supporter of the Baycats organization, as is his wife, who's from Aurelia, and we're just happy to have him. He's been great for us, and again, we'd like him to face the good teams so that he can really gain that experience in the league and know who he's facing come playoff time.
Absolutely. Well, Baycats fans, I'm Sam Hossack. That's Josh Matlow. Thanks so much for hopping on here today, Josh. And we'll see everyone at the Park at Coates Stadium on Thursday night against the Kitchener Panthers.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sam, for this. Appreciate it. And go Baycats.